Hey, everybody, it's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? We are so happy you're here. Tonight is Tuesday, February 15th. It's it's freezing. It's freezing in New York, and I think it's pretty cold up north. If I'm not mistaken, it would be colder. So Rena Crignali-Berghi, our weather girl in Massachusetts, she'll let us know how that's going. But it's been a very cold February, but it's getting better. And what I mean by that is last night, Susan Campanaro and I were working at the Stonewall Inn, and we really got a hit. We got a good crowd going, and out in the streets, people are back out on the street. So that's good news because January was a little peaked. Oh my God. Annette Zito. Hello, Bella. Hello, Bella, to you. I was thinking about you today, Annette, because I know your birthday was a few days ago. So happy birthday. That makes you an Aquarius, right? Yeah. Ski. Okay. So you love February because you go skiing. That's exactly it. You have to use the winter to do great things. I think Jimmy has just joined us. So that's our producer and engineer, Jim Bell from Armed Radio Global, armedradioglobal, armeddigitalmedia.com. So he's going to be back and forth, and we are going live on Facebook right now. So Andy, okay, yeah, turn the mic off, Jimmy, because I can hear you now. Okay. Andy Prasky has joined us. Michael Dion has joined us. Hi, Michael Dion. Michael's in Florida, I believe. Andy Prasky is in beautiful New Jersey. We love Jersey. So welcome to our show. So here's what we want to tell you. There's a couple of things. We got a lot going on tonight, as usual. But I just noticed that Joe Gullha, who is going to be on our show momentarily, he shared our show. Hold on one second. All right.
Disconnected.
Okay, I'm sorry for that interruption. I had a little radio station glitch. Okay, so I am going to, this is what I'm doing. What I do, I watch the show on my phone as well, because people pop up there and sometimes I don't always see them here. So Bethany Vaughn has joined us. Jamie Burke has joined us. David Slauson. Hi, David Slauson. I noticed you won an award recently. That is fantastic. So we have friends all over the country. And also we have people in Australia that watch us as well, and England. So we want to say thank you to all of our listeners and viewers. We appreciate you. Okay. We are, I'm in New York. Leo is in Idlewild, California. And Leo,
we have snow.
You have snow. Oh my God, in the mountains of California.
I'm bragging to you, right?
That is incredible. Listen, I want to talk about Leo for a second. Leo is that kind of behind the scenes guy, cute as he may be, but people don't always know the incredible things that Leo does. And I want to once again sing Leo's praises.
Oh.
He runs our show from California, which is incredible. Jim Bell runs our the radio station stuff from New Hampshire. And so we have all kinds of things going on, and it's really, technology is great. Leo, you did a new promo for our show, and before we bring Joe Gullha on, I want to quickly do our merchandise, and then I want you to run that ad. Okay, so of course we have merchandise. We have our beautiful tote bag. It's $10. It says, "Go ahead, keep eating." This is only $10, and then right now, since all the plastic and stuff is is away, this is a really good thing to have.
I feel like that gorilla. Remember what were the luggage commercials, and they had the gorilla? That's me with
yes, the gorilla would be kicking him around. I think the gorilla would not be. I mean, this can totally handle the gorilla.
Mm-hmm.
We also have for $10 our cup. Go ahead, keep eating. It says on the back, and there you go. So this is $10 as well. This is a great cup. Now, if I mail this has a little bit of postage on it, but.
Our choreography is, Busby Berkeley.
We don't even talk about it, Leo, but
Busby Berkeley.
The piece de resistance, of course, and
wait,
this apron. I know.
Which one is the
$25 for the apron, but it has sparked a frenzy.
A fire.
Things. A fire, right? So somebody, Michael Vaccaro from California, took a picture of himself with just the apron, nothing but the apron. Started an avalanche of adorable, as I've been calling it. And he is in the calendar. He is Mr. March. There he is. And we're in February right now. So Ron Berge, Rena Berge's husband, is Mr. February. But
Slow
we're not going
reveal.
to show you past that. Yeah.
Slow reveal. Ronnie.
Little breakfast for his wife there. So if you want a
Ronnie.
calendar, please let us know. It's $15. I will get it out to you. Anything you want to order, just let us know and I will get it out to you. You can either contact me on Facebook or you can go to our
There's your Gmail right there. What's the story with Maria at gmail.com.
wow, who's better than you, Leo? Nobody. Now,
You?
speaking of who's better than you, Leo does all our promos. He also runs my website.
Oh, one thing before we forgot.
What?
This Sunday, I'm going to go see one of our friends' plays down in Palm Springs before it goes to Off-Broadway
Oh my God.
on your coast. That's what's cool about the show is it's coast to coast.
Yes, it is. Coast to coast. Coast to coast cuteness.
That's right. Electricity, the play by Terry Ray with our friend Mel England is and it's showing for 4 dates in the Palm Springs area. It's like Palm Springs #1 play for running play for quite a while, and then it's going to go to Off-Broadway. So I'm going to go see that Sunday.
And we've had those guys on our show over the years, and they're amazing, and we're very proud of them. They're going to Off-Broadway. Electricity, the play, keep that in mind. Now, run that amazing new promo that you did for us, and then we'll bring our extremely handsome and talented playwright, Joe Gullaa, on.
Yeah, I'm a big fish, small pond, day spring and my night's long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. Baby, I'm as famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Oh, who I am.
Leo, I love that new promo. It's fantastic.
I love all the hearts behind you.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's
I
fantastic.
feel bad. I know we have special guests coming today that just popped in afterwards. So my apologies to you handsome, beautiful people. But I just didn't know in time for the promo. So sorry, Chet.
Oh, that's all right. So tonight, speaking of plays, we're very proud of this guy. He's our friend, of course. He's just our friend, right?
He's
But
in
what? What were you going to say?
He's in Wikipedia.
He's a famous playwright.
American playwright.
Right. American playwright Joe Gullaa from the Bronx, our friend, has a show, a play that's going to have a reading at the Stonewall Inn this Thursday, February 17th. And we happen to have him with us, don't we, Leo?
Yes, we do. We're showing that.
Okay. So it's called Real Wood. Real is spelled REELWOOD. And oh my God, there he is.
Oh my God.
Joe Gullaa. What's up, buddy?
First of all, your opener is a major thing.
Well, that's Leo. You mean
the credits, the lights, the
I
fireworks.
know. Well, that's my song, Joe. I don't know if you know that. I wrote it. It's on my album. But
Well, I heard I sounded like you. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
So I wrote that many years ago. You know what prompted me to write that song? A friend of mine said to me, "Don't you wish you were famous by now?"
Oh.
And I wrote that song as an answer.
But I mean, your answer is a major opening sequence to your podcast that goes millions of people around the country.
I
So,
love it. I love it. Listen, first of all, we had so much fun last night. Joe came into the Stonewall with Susie and I were working. We had such a great night. It was Valentine's Day.
laughing so hard. I mean,
I know.
we know her for so long, but yet she still makes me laugh hard.
Absolutely.
She's a girl, that Campanaro.
Campanaro, you can't stop her. She can't be stopped.
No.
Do you know that I've been best friends with Susie for 32 years and I have never not laughed my head off?
But that was what was so warm to me too. I was laughing, but when I turned around, you were laughing like it was the first time you ever saw her perform.
Well, because she's hysterical. I mean, it doesn't get any funnier than Susie Camp.
No,
It just
doesn't.
doesn't.
I am so lucky to have her in my play. This is
I
brilliant.
know. Well, this is what's so great. Well, first of all, let me check in with people that are. So a lot of our friends, Kenny Holcomb, love my calendar, mug and apron. Thank you, Kenny. Susie, love that. Okay, so Susan is watching and she's going to be on soon. Rena Crignelli-Bergi, we were worried you weren't here, but she is Mr. February's wife. I don't know if you know that, Joe, in the calendar.
I've last seen you. I mean, my show is about the porn industry, but you are literally selling porn on your show.
No, it's not porn. It's
naked people.
But the apron. It's just suggested hotness.
I was with Susan Campanaro, and we had to look at some dates, and she literally pulled out the Naked Man calendar. So I saw it. There's naked people.
Pulled it out. So she was just, yeah, that's what she does. She takes her calendar and then she's writing things down. There's nakedness. Yeah.
And there's nakedness in there. And by the way, some of those people are your friends, and I met them.
They're all listeners. Every one of them is a listener of the show.
But it was fun to see some of them kind of naked. Because
I know.
Like naked. Now I don't have
and already I'm up to 6 people that want to be in next year. So now the slots are filling up. There's only 6 slots left. Now, Jamie Burke, who is Jerry Diefenbach, he's listening.
That's a beautiful Jerry Diefenbach. I mean, that's AKA.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joe, let's go right to it. Let's go right to it.
Yeah.
You were in the studio with me and a few of your cast members a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
More than 2 years ago.
Yeah, just around. Yep.
In March, it was I think the second week in March, and we were talking about your play being going to the Stonewall Inn. Go ahead, tell them what happened.
We're a band of actors excited about the show. I found the best actors. I'm so blessed in terms of the talent that is in this show, but they were as talented as they were excited. And I was like, let's go celebrate. I mean, I asked your permission, of course. Let's go celebrate on Maria's podcast. And you invited all of us in.
Yeah, I was like, bring them all. Why not? I'll cook for everybody.
So fun and so celebratory and a beautiful promotional piece for the VIPs reading at the Stonewall Inn. And none of us really were thinking that wouldn't happen. And 2 minutes later, we were plunged into the pandemic we are still crawling out of.
Right. I couldn't believe it. As a matter of fact, Joe, I was thinking about this the other day. Your show was the first thing I remember they didn't say canceled, just said postponed. Like, it's not going to happen.
It was a big decision for me because, first of all, you're meeting one of the guys who was on that show, voice only, Chet. He lives in California, and we brought him in to do the show. And, who really knew what the pandemic was going to be at that moment? But
yeah, we didn't have, who the hell? I didn't even know what the word pandemic meant.
Exactly. I pictured this guy getting on a plane and coming, and, it all sounded so threatening, but I canceled it right before the world started canceling everything. Right. And I felt so guilty about it, but meaning,
well, the piano bars shut down on March 14th. So I think yours was that week. Everybody, we made the right decision. So but I remember it distinctly because I was like, wow, we just had these guys. So you might have been one of the very last shows we had with people in the studio.
We actually could. I mean, yes, that's true for your show, but we were going to be allowed to even do it. And the next day was when everything shut down. But I mean, this is one of the problems I'm having about the pandemic that we're all having. It is so soul crushing, in terms of artists and their work and the effort that we put into everything to even try to do these things when it was really happening. It's so depressing. You know what I mean? Do it. It's already hard enough kind of road. And that obstacle course of this pandemic has been crazy. I don't mean to be complaining, and I'm not.
No, it's just that the reality of it, because you were the last show, one of the last shows. I think there was one in between, but now the great news is you're back. You guys have been rehearsing, and I know that how happy you've been about that process. That it's so much joy in it, right? Like bringing everybody together again.
Like it's doing the things we used to do. We're like booking studios for rehearsal, and we're, making phone calls and planning schedules and doing call sheets and making changes to scripts and stuff like that. It's what we love to do.
Yep, absolutely. And so now it's this Thursday, 7:00. People should get there at 6:30 so that they can be seated and get there. And there's a bar, there's a cash bar so they can get drinks and all that. Get there at 6:30, and then people just sit. What's the cost for the ticket?
It's $0.
Free.
Yes, we're not even pretending. We want to do it.
That's a fantastic show.
Yeah, what we want to do, the idea is this play has already been done, read, and semi-produced in different parts of the country where it's done very well and won some awards. Okay. I want to introduce it to New York,
right?
Hopes of having a full-blown production, hopefully soon. So I thought, why not do it at the most iconic, legendary gay place in the world? I mean, if I could, right. And you guys are connected there. And I spoke with you and Susan, and we know Bill Morgan and Kurt Kelly from way back.
Yes, absolutely. Great guys.
We're doing it at the Stonewall. I mean, as a gay man, I am so honored. I am so thrilled. I think it's so appropriate.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I'm going to be there. I'm definitely going to be there.
Don't tease me.
I promise, Joe. I talked to my girlfriend today. She's going to, if she can get done with work, she's going to meet me there. But I'm going to go there. So, okay. Now, no cover. Amazing. You have a cast. It's not just you reading it. Like, I know you've done that at Joe's
I'm a solo performer mostly. That's what I do.
Yeah. But you have a cast for this.
I have a cast. Okay.
So should we bring in some of the cast members?
Roll them out. They are fantastic. I want everyone to meet them.
Okay. Oh my God. Emily, Dinova, Chet, Göle. How wonderful. Chet, I think you're muted, honey, because I see your little microphone might be muted.
There we go.
There we go. All right. So
I'm going to look back and watch.
Susan Campanaro. So Joe, I'm going to have you introduce every person and the character they play.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So Emily Dinova plays Shyla.
All right. Tell us about Shyla. What do we need to know about Shyla?
Shyla is a porn star.
That's it. There's no way around it.
I mean, what else do you need to know about somebody? She's a porn star. And she does most of her scenes, the porn scenes with Chet Göle.
Okay.
Hey.
And there's
That's me.
All right. Hi, Chet.
Hello.
So you're the other porn star.
Yes.
That's right. That's gonna go on my business cards. The other porn star.
The other, you know what? I like that.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be.
It's gonna be in quotes. It's actually adult film actor. There's a quote.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Now you both, you and Emily you're both actors, and Emily, you're a writer as well. I know that, right?
Yes, I am. I also produce and direct when the occasion calls for it. I
saw that. That's amazing. So now, and Chet, did you folks meet before this? Were you friends before that? Did you know each other?
Stories about these people. So, all right. So I did a show way back when called Gay Porn Mafia, and both Emily and Chet auditioned. Emily got in the show. Chet did not.
No.
He was so impressive. He was so, how they say, oh, you're not right for this, but we're going to keep you in mind. And it's always a lie. It wasn't a lie. I had it on a list. And when we were going to do the reading, the first time of Real Wood, I called Chet, who we didn't know each other at all, other than your auditioning and an occasional email after that. And he came in and blew it out of the park. He was fantastic.
That's
Emily
great.
was my family, though. She's been in my shows. I love her. Like, we are friends outside of the world of this.
So you knew Emily before this audition?
Before this audition, I did, because she was in another show of mine. So we hung out a lot during that process. Yeah.
Okay. And Susie knows Emily too, right?
And I knew Emily before I knew Joe, and then Joe knew me before I knew him, and then we all knew each other.
I was a fan of Susan Campanaro for years, to the point that I felt like shy to talk to her.
Really?
I'm not kidding. To show you her my worship.
He had heterosexual feelings for me.
I did.
That happens, though. That's what happens.
On the podcast right now.
Yeah, but listen. I'm sure that lots of people would say that they had those feelings for Susan or Lavinia.
Lavinia wants to be in the calendar.
By the way, Lavinia is banned. By the way, she's banned from Stonewall on Thursday.
No, I use my calendar for everything. I pull that out and it's written all over.
He goes, I was with Susie and she was pulling out her calendar.
I wasn't even making a joke, though. She really did.
It's in my bag.
Lavinia, definitely next year, Lavinia has to be in the calendar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. All right. So let's talk about a reading versus. So, I mean, I like readings. I've gone to many readings, and I actually enjoy them very much because I feel that I can still suspend. Oh, speaking of the calendar, Jay Rivera is here. He is Mr. April. Jay, people go crazy. Yeah,
that was one of my favorite pages.
I know.
I bought mommy a calendar, Jay, and when she saw June, which is of course my birthday month, she goes, "Oh."
Yeah,
when she saw Jay.
Well, no, Jay's April.
Well, whatever it was.
And June is Mario Davila, which is also very sexy. But so now a play versus a reading, right? So I like both, of course, but I really do enjoy a reading, and I find that I can very easily get lost in what the actors are doing. So how do you guys feel about what's coming up? Do you feel like, I know it's been a while since we could all really perform out there. Emily, have you performed since the pandemic is winding down? Have you been able to get out there?
Yeah, I actually just got back from Idaho 2 days ago. We've been on tour with Tony and Tina's wedding. I play Tina, which is how I know Susan. But yeah, we were in Omaha, we were in Utah, Idaho, Oregon. So we've actually been back on the road. I had COVID back in November, so I kind of felt, going forward now a little bit more easy about being back out. And
I think we all went through the same thing. We all went through the same thing, and just getting back out there. And Chet, how about you? How you feel? Have you been out there at all with crowds or with people, or do you feel like this is going to be a good chance for you to get back out there? What do you think?
This is a great chance to get back out. It's funny, like the last time I was in New York was Super Bowl Sunday 2 years ago when we had the reading with the director of the original. Was going to be the original reading. So that was the last time I was out and about in New York. And, since then I was LA based at the time. And I've since gone back to LA, had to go to Arizona, stay with family, during the pandemic. And now that I'm back out in LA, I've kind of crept back into doing stand-up a little bit. That's kind of like the world that I originally come from. But I've been taking it, as you guys know, like it's the last month or two has kind of been a little triggering. So now that that's died out, like I've kind of just taken a step back and worked on some writing projects. But feels like a really good transition to not only get back out and get back into performing after this whole craziness, but it feels like a good bookend to the pandemic.
Absolutely.
Like the pandemic started when we did this, and now it's gonna end.
Right. Absolutely. And all that stuff that happened in the middle was wild. And, in a lot of ways, like I think those of us, we creatives, we had to really it's like this. It's like energy, right? If you squeeze energy, you're not going to kill it. It's just going to go somewhere else, right?
Right.
You can't, it's like light. You can cover it all you want. It's going to come out somewhere else. So I feel like a lot of us started to create in other ways, whatever it was, whether on Zoom or whether we started writing or we started working on other projects that would someday take flight. But now I think everybody's just ready to come out of the house, really ready, And the audiences are, I think they are over being home. They're over it, you know, because I work in all the clubs and people are out and they're ready to be out. So, Chet, now you're based here?
No, I'm actually, I'm just visiting for the week.
Okay.
You know, if let's say when this becomes a real thing and this becomes a play, I'll be back out here for however long it need to be.
Okay.
But I'm based in LA currently, but I'm happy to pop back here whenever Joe beckons.
I will harass him constantly. Yes, yeah,
that's what Joe does. That's Joe's job. Yes. All right, let me just stop for a second. We have Eric Eves Garcia has joined us. Marissa Cooney has joined us. Hi, Marissa. Long time no see. George Hernandez, he's in Miami. Marissa's in Staten Island, I believe. And let me see, Michael Cryan. Hi, Michael Cryan. We went to high school together. Jenny Bono Constantini. Hi. So a lot of our friends are popping on now. So who plays? Okay, Susie, you play a therapist, right?
Yes.
So I'm the therapist of Redmond and Kyle, and that is they're newlyweds. They live in LA, and this I'm Dr. Kennedy, and she is caustic and has a lot of her own issues. And she's very verbal about them. And it seems as though this relationship with her clients is helping her to find her own relationship with her long lost family member.
Oh,
okay. So it's a twist of fate.
What happens, Maria, is the conceit of the show is these two guys are married and they just bought a home in the Hollywood Hills. And one of them, unbeknownst to the other, rents out the entire house to a straight porn production company. So they're forced to live in the basement. So if these two gay guys are forced to live in this house where there are naked women running around doing womanly pornographic things. So this is like the worst. And this is what starts all the chaos and the problems in the show and forces them to go to therapy and forces their lives to entwine with the porn actors in their own
This
home.
sounds like, Joe, it sounds like a movie. Like, I can see this as a movie.
Thursday, and we'll get there. Yeah.
I mean, it's like one of those madcap. Remember the 70s? They all those great madcap, Wild 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 World and all that crazy.
I do believe it's madcap, and I think it's satirical, and it's noises off-ish. You know what I mean? It's
yeah. Exactly. That's
there's an earthquake.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's one thing I love about the whole thing from beginning to end. It's like it's got so much heart. It's really it's pretty edgy in some places, and I would say like it's the kind of comedy that comes from it is from a good place, but also like there's a little darkness to some of the characters.
There's emotional pain. There's emotional pain that comes out.
This is really cool. I'm so intrigued. I'm going to be there for sure Thursday, but I can't. It's so intriguing. Jake Rivera says I can't wait to see it. Jay's such a
Jay, come see it.
Jay's the most supportive person. He goes to everything. He's such a good
I love Jay.
And he sings beautifully.
Yes. Oh my God. He totally sings. Okay, hold on a second. There we go.
Oh, and then speaking of singing, afterwards, Jerry Diefenbach will be on the keys. So we're going to continue the party piano bar style.
Absolutely.
So it's like we're going to have a reading. It's going to go right into Jerry's set, and we're just going to have fun and hang out at the Stonewall, which is the greatest club on the planet.
Yeah, it's such a great club.
We want to have fun. That's the point.
Yeah, absolutely. So how many people are in the cast?
In the official cast, there's 5, but because in the reading though it's 6 because we have someone reading stage directions.
Okay,
and plays a smaller part, so it's 6 cast members for that evening.
All right, so who's missing tonight that we need to give a shout out to?
So I play Kyle. I'm one of the married gay guys, and I'm married to Redmond, and that's played by Dan Pavlicek.
Okay.
And we get, as I said, entwined with the porn people, and that's Dagger, who is Chet. And that's
Dagger. Oh my God, that's great.
Dagger McDaniel.
No, that's great.
Oh, just wait. Just wait.
The
name is just wait. Sorry, go ahead, Joe. I'm just saying, like I read it again today and I'm like still surprised by some of the crazy stuff going on.
Well, so okay, speaking of reading something, so when you folks read the script, I mean, Joe, is that how you do it? You give them the script?
What do you mean? What do you mean? I gave them the script.
I think she cut out. Guys, I think it's our show now. I think she's not.
Everyone.
Hey!
Maria cut out for a second.
Oh.
But yeah, she meant the script. So keep going and I'll put her back.
I think what she's asking is, so we get the script, we read it, and we, experience it. But let me just, I'll just say what happened was 2 years ago, right? 2020, we were going to do a reading at the Stonewall on like March 15th, which is the day that New York shut down. So we were going to do a reading. And prior to that, a few of us, I think we all got together, this particular cast, and we read it. And we read it to a group of people, like maybe 12 people or less.
The Playwrights Association.
At the Playwrights Association. And we had such a grand time and we were so happy and we couldn't wait to do it. But then the world shut down. So we had to not do it.
I think though at that particular reading, none of us knew each other.
No, I mean I knew Emily.
She knew, but like
same.
we just like everyone. I'd never met Emily, and there was something crazy that happened in that reading.
Yeah, and what was amazing about that was we literally showed up, we sat down, we had never rehearsed. And I love telling this story, but I'm like, I hope they do it okay. I mean, I don't really know what they're going to do. I just handed them the scripts.
Yeah.
And we're about to start, and Chet leaned over to me and said, "Would you mind if I did my part in a Russian accent?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's okay." Thinking, and it was one of the biggest surprises. I mean, this was an experience as a writer for me that's been unbelievable because I liked what I wrote. And it had gotten a lot of approbation around, but literally, I'm not just saying it, these particular actors came in and showed me things I did not know were there that make me laugh. It looks like I'm being conceited by just laughing at my own stuff, but I'm not. I'm laughing at what they bring to it. And Maria, you're going to see this on Thursday. It's wild.
No, yeah. So this is perfect because this brings me to my next question. And Emily, you're a writer too, and Susan's a writer, and Chet, I don't know if you're, well, you are. If you do stand up, you're a writer as well. But so that's my next question because like I'm a songwriter, right? So one of my greatest joys, I love to sing my own stuff, of course, but I really love to hear someone else do it. And sometimes when I hear someone else do it, it's mind blowing how different it is than what I conceived. And yet there's something so amazing in it that I would have never thought of. So do you, you're all writers, and you can chime in at different times. Do you feel that with things let's talk about writing now. When you write something and you hear someone else read it, what does that feel like? Emily, why don't you go first?
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I think it's all part of the collaboration process. When I'm writing something, it obviously sounds one way in my head. And when I'm directing a piece I wrote or I'm casting it, actors come in and they bring things to it that I'm like, oh my God, I wouldn't have even thought of that, or wow, that sounded so great. Or I've actually gone back in after, post-production of a play and been like, I'm changing lines based on what these characters brought, because during the process, they would be like, hey, what if I do this, or what if, it's a play on that, and they would build off of the script, and I find that collaboration is so important with, all mediums, but I find that, it's really gratifying and satisfying when you're working with the right people to have them, bring new things to your characters and breathe life into scripts.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's just mind blowing how cool that is. Right. And now, Chet, you do stand up, right?
Yeah.
So
and I've written a pilot, and I'm in the middle of writing a screenplay, and
cool.
I've actually it's funny that after Joe had cast me in that first reading, it was just by chance I was writing.
Oh, we lost. Okay. Yeah, that happened to me too. I got bumped off. He'll come back and then he can.
I'll start what he's trying to say, though. It's cool. He's actually being very modest. He wrote a sitcom that there was much interest in Hollywood about. And so he had a reading at his home and he cast me in it. So we'll hear what he says about how that process went for him. But I was very complimented and it was quite good.
Yeah, there you are, Chet. So I know the same thing happened to me. I got bumped off. But so Joe was saying about the screenplay that you wrote.
Yeah, and so it was just by the same thing that Emily was saying. It was incredible to hear that, and I was kind of inspired by, Joe asking me to do it, and it takes you in another direction when you go to the next phase of writing. And I think one really credit to Joe on this is from that reading, the most updated version. Like he took the suggestions acting wise that all three of us and anybody else who did it, but I think three of us were there for the original one, took those, and like I feel like that character now is like grounded in that reading because there are so many things that not just from my character but from Emily and Susan, like there's like scenes and relationships that are now solidified that we were like excited to see potentially together just based off the performances of everybody, and for Joe to take that and make it a thing is incredible.
That was fun for me because we had that reading and everybody had some nice, they offered their comments, and they mentioned things to me that I didn't see or notice. I wrote them down. I felt like a Catholic schoolboy, like, oh God, now I have an assignment. I have to make some changes. Right. But what was great was having seen them perform it. When I wrote it, when I added stuff to it, I had them in mind. Like I was writing for Susan Campanaro, who when I originally wrote it, I wasn't writing it for her.
I love that. So
man, it's great. So now I saw them doing it, and I played to what I believe is theirs. I tried to play to their strengths.
Right.
See what happens Thursday.
It's not just this nameless person in your head.
Oh.
Like I would imagine that is the hardest thing, writing in other people's voices, but not having a face or a name to it, because they're all living in your head and you're all writers. So you all understand. And Susan's written a ton of stuff. And now Susie has a one-woman show, Missing Person, which is done incredibly well. And you were at Susan, what was the last place you were in Jersey? That was the name of that theater?
We were at the New Jersey Repertory Theater like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna go to Florida with Timmy Monaghan. Timmy, I direct one-person pieces. So Timmy Monaghan's my dear friend from Tony and Tina's Wedding, and he's performing Saturday night at the Duplex, his one-man show, Lobster Tales, that I direct.
I love it. It's an amazing
show. It's really good. And we're going to go with my show and his show to his childhood friend's theater. His childhood friend owns a theater in Florida, in Port St. Lucie, and we're going to take these two plays and we're going to do them for the weekend. So Lynn Portis, my composer of my musical, and our dear friend, me and Maria's dear friend, we're going to go, and then Timmy will do the late spot. We'll do the early spot. But Saturday, if you want to see a really great one-person show at the Duplex, 9:30, Timmy Monaghan, he's wonderful. He's wonderful.
Also a Tony and Tina guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe, now you were in Tony and Tina's too, right?
Yes. First of all, isn't it kind of fantastic that a lot of us here were in that? And I was thinking about it because I've had many conversations with Emily, but never too much about Tony and Tina's. I was a fanatical fan when it first started, the very first Nancy Casaro as Tina. Mm-hmm. And then I lived through the years of Susan Campanaro, who I wouldn't talk to, but she was doing it. And now the current Tina, like the official Times Square off-Broadway version, touring company is Emily. Like she has taken that torch now. And I mean, I will never not love that piece. You know,
yeah, it's a great show. We so many of our friends. I mean, and speaking of also Justine Rossi has joined us. She was Tina as well. I mean, so Michael Bowe joined us, Mark Sittler joined us, Shep Pamplin joined us. But
Shep, oh my gosh,
yeah,
Shep.
See, that's why I have to look down at my phone, because my phone goes to my my Maria Gentili page, and then this is our What's a Story with Maria page. So it's two different pages, but people come through on two different places. So the thing about that, I was going to bring this up, and you'll all understand, as improv actors, like I played like 6 different roles, right, over the years, and then I ended up being Marina at the end, but what I loved about it was, depending on who played what, the show would be completely different. And like you folks were talking about how an actor would breathe life into something, and it was, as a writer, make you go in a different place. And I felt like, and I think we all identify with this as Tony and Tina people, that an understudy would completely tilt it without even meaning to, just because if we're good actors, which we all are, we're going to react, right? We're not just going to do our thing and keep going, because then we wouldn't be good at what we do. We're going to react to what the other person gives us. So everybody's different. And I used to love different people's takes on, you know, on different characters. I love them all for different reasons, but I just found it so exciting all the time. You never knew what was going to happen, right? You find that?
Please.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How is it these days out there with like in Tony and Tina land in Idaho? Like, I'm dying to talk to you.
It's crazy. We had a sold out show. I mean, people, like, you know, Maria said, were like, we drove 4 hours in the middle of nowhere to come and see this. We want entertainment. We miss, you know, these things. And I think the thing that's really special about the show is that it's so inclusive of the audience, obviously. So, you know, especially people who have been sitting in their house for 2 years get to come out and be a part of something. So, you know, it's always different. The casts are always switched up when you're on the road. You know, we get to work with our Pacific Northwest cast. We work with some Milwaukee people, some Chicago people.
Oh, Leo has a question. Yes, Leo.
Emily, wasn't Anthony Barilli with that cast that you recently did? Wasn't he in that?
Yes, Anthony Barilli was with us in Omaha, playing Father Mark and being fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I met Susie in Tony and Tina's wedding 30 years ago. Can you imagine? Yeah. So, and how many tours have you gone out on? How many, just over and over? It's like endless.
Oh, I mean, I've been very lucky. I mean, you know, when I was asked to play Tina and move the play up to Times Square, and it was really wonderful. We had this huge resurgence of the play. And we took it from the Village to Times Square. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to be that Tina that did that move. And then through that, we got to go to Japan and just have such a wonderful experience. Like, I've had different, like, first it was the Maria experience, you know, where it was like the friends of our life, like my whole life changed. Like in 1991, my entire life changed. I changed everything about my life, and it was all because of Tony and Tina's wedding. And that was like becoming best friends with Maria and all that we did there. And then intermittently, I was in and out of the cast. They would contract me for a week or this or that in the New York company. And then we just started touring. And then, like, we started in Miami, me and Justine Rossi. She was Tina then, and we just started traveling and going to Orlando and Florida, and we went to Vegas, and we were doing these really crazy big shows for like 500 people. And then Denise Fennell was Tina, and just all this stuff. And then how I met Emily was we were going to do the 25th anniversary, and the director of the time, who's the director now, Tony Luria, asked if I would help with the process. And Emily came in, and I mean, not to brag about myself, but he goes, "She's a young you." And I was like, well, that means she knows what's going on. So, and her boyfriend, I loved him. I was like, look at that crazy kid. And he came in. And so we were in that process. Unfortunately, that show was good. It just was bad timing and a bad venue. It didn't really work out. But anyway, I've been touring, you know, and I learned how to play Loretta, which I gotta say, Loretta and the mother are my favorite roles to play. I just love how crazy they are.
You know,
like the girls, I played all the young girls and I love them. I never played Marina, but I love the young girls, you know, Maddie's fun, Tina, Connie, Donna, but the older ones are fucking hilarious. Oh,
well, you know what? That's all right. You know what's funny that you say that, because at the time when I was playing, I had 6 roles that I understudied, right? But one of them was Loretta, even though I was in my early 30s when I was understudying her. But she was my favorite I ever played because you could totally go off the deep end with it.
Do anything.
Yeah. And now that we're that age, it's even more fun.
And so Maria, you gave me back this wig, remember? Yeah. And so today I'm doing some Italian American mama, and I just was doing the rehearsal on Zoom.
Nobody rocks a wig like Susan Campanaro.
Oh, well, wigs are the best. That's why I have bad hair and I don't care. Even my mother will be like, just put a wig on.
Okay, we're going to take a minute and do, for you new people on the show, which you'll be on the show again, I promise you. And if you're doing anything, please let me know and we'll have you on and promote it, because I love to promote my friends. Okay, but there's a section of the show called Go Ahead, Keep Eating, because I cook every time I have a show. When people are in my studio, they eat with me. When you're not, sadly, I have to eat it myself. What did I make tonight? Okay, so you're going with the Italian theme. Oh, first we have to say at the count of 3, go ahead, keep eating. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Go ahead, keep eating.
Okay, so what did I make tonight? I made shrimp scampi.
Scampi.
I asked myself, what do you want to eat tonight, Maria? And that's what I wanted. So this is a kind of sort of traditional shrimp scampi, but I got a pound of shrimp, and they're marinated in garlic, lemon, white wine, and I put pesto, actually, instead of just basil. I put a little pesto in there, marinated them, and then cooked them in butter and garlic olive oil, which so that's even better.
My mouth is literally watering.
I know.
I'm like about to jump through the screen.
It's awful. It's awful. This part I always feel bad about when people look at the food. I'm proud of myself, but I feel bad. Okay, so my salad is just a nice kind of a traditional Tuscan salad. So it's red leaf lettuce, white brine tomatoes, red onion. I put a little cilantro in there, so that's a little twist just because I was in the mood for cilantro. And I'm going to, Joe, this is for you. Because the show, you're an Italian playwright. Tuscan olive oil, so herb Tuscan olive oil, and a lavender, that's also for you, Joe. A lavender balsamic vinegar. So that's what's going on now.
Yo, you're getting the lavender treatment.
The lavender.
And just because I'm not back on my diet yet, I'm not on the keto yet, I will be in about, I don't know, I keep pushing it. But this is a chocolate peanut butter cupcake. Could you die? Dessert is my favorite.
I'm gonna die. Oh my God.
That's our food. God. That is our food for the night.
Maria's the best.
Yeah, I mean,
I just like to create all the time, and I love to cook.
You can make it a real bookend, by the way, and bring us all back to the studio. So next time you do that, we can eat your.
Listen, nothing makes me happier than to cook for people. I swear, Susie knows. Sometimes I'm just like, come up for lunch.
And just so you know, you could come hang out with me and Maria every Monday from 9 to 2 at the Stonewall Inn if you just want to hang out. Joe came last night, just hanging out with the girls. That's the best thing that came out of the pandemic. I had retired from piano bar. I was in retirement, but I came out for the Stonewall Inn. It's the only club, and Maria Gentili. And if Kurt Kelly or Bill Morgan asked me to do anything, of course I would. But for Maria Gentili, that was my gift of COVID. I got to spend nights with Maria, Monday night.
Aww. Thank you, Susie. I can't stop laughing. I mean, Susie gets up and forget about it. And Joe was laughing last night because he said you're always, you just like can't stop laughing at Susie.
Well, she takes her clothes off before she sings. That's funny.
Well, she just is, you never know. One time I took a friend to see Lavinia. This is many years ago. And she was like, oh my God, she took her clothes off. I said, I'm surprised it took her this long. It was like more than 5 minutes. I'm like, Lavinia is always semi-naked.
Always.
I love it. Why not? If you got a good body, rock.
I need air. My body needs
very rarely standing up, by the way, like singing, laying down on any sort of.
Last night, remember, Joe, we couldn't stop laughing. I don't know what song you were doing, Suze, but you just like laid down the ground, legs up in the. We were like, what is she?
Back to black. I had to rehearse. Back to black.
And then what I like is when she sang "Shallow," like she had stage fright and she wouldn't come out. I really enjoy that. But you know what's funny about it too? She does those hysterical, ridiculous, like Lucy Ricardo type things.
Yeah.
But her one-woman show, first of all, it's an original one-woman musical. It's serious business.
Yes.
It's acted so beautifully, written so beautifully. And I mean, it's funny because it's Lavinia, you know. So.
Yeah, but it's funny because it's Lavinia, but it's also a whole different take that you don't expect.
No, you don't, because you learn more about Lavinia.
Because when I went to see Missing Person, I was expecting, okay, I know Susie, I know Lavinia. This is going to be so funny. I love Lynn. Lynn's my musical director as well. It's going to be outstanding. But I was blown away because I didn't expect all the other stuff, like the punch that comes after all of it. You're like, that's what I mean about writing amazing pieces. Like, you know, that's not a skill that everyone has. Writing, not everybody has that skill, you know, and that's why I really all of you, you know, like you're all writers. You're not just actors, you're all writers. You should be very proud of yourself.
Since you're talking about skills people don't have, you know what I'm noticing?
What?
That a lot of people have a hard time doing comedy. Like, it's like, and when you find people that can do comedy, it's so relaxing. You can sit back and let them do it. But there are some people that you can give them the funniest line in the world and they just can't deliver that.
They're not sad enough.
That's
well,
they haven't gone through.
Because
that's what
I was thinking because Dr. Kennedy, I'm not going to speak for Shyla or Dagger, but I do know the play. I've read it like 16 times, you know, at this point before tomorrow. But it's very sad what happened in their lives, but it's funny. Just like Lavinia, it's sad what happened in her life, but it's funny because it's their take on it. You know, it's how the act out is. Because it's the act out. The act out is what makes it funny. That's the cover. The cover of the pain is how you act out. And that's where the joke is.
I agree.
The situation's sad. What happened to you is sad. But the way that you act out on it is what's funny in comedy.
It also makes it feel like this play deals with a lot of different things. Like grief is one of them. And I think that people seeing how, because there's no right way to act when you're grieving, right? And so that's just, you know, an example of like, if someone's like insane or someone's like, you know, doing something that looks hilarious externally, it almost like the audience is laughing because it's like a release, like, oh, it's okay to like, you know, there is no answer to this emotion because, you know, they're afraid to say that they see themselves, you know, in a crazy porn star who's, you know, going through some stuff that you'd never think that you'd put yourself in that position, but you are.
Right.
Maria,
and weirdly, I also think it's about, I think it's about pacing, because with comedy, you know, if you're talking about, you know, really dark stuff, but there's dead air in between that stuff and it's not moving, that's when you give the audience time to really process, I think, the depth of what you're saying, and you're not hitting on the, you know, the tops of the comedy. So I feel like pacing is also really important when you're doing.
Absolutely. And to me, comedy is not something you can teach. You cannot teach that. I think that, like, I also work with kids, as does Susie. I don't know if you folks teach, but you know, you'll have that kid in your class that's just so funny, naturally so funny. And sometimes you don't want to laugh because you're the teacher, so you have to keep it together. But they just have it. They have it from like an early age, and they don't mind laughing at themselves. They don't mind being the brunt of the joke. It's that kid, that goofball, that turns it into, you know, as an adult can turn it into something. And you're right, there's pain in those pockets in our life, but it's what you do with it, you know. But and it is timing, like you're absolutely right. And a lot of the comedy is in the silence, you know. It's not just about, it's about taking that beat, you know, like, and then all of a sudden it gives someone a chance to, and I also find that people that are funny are incredibly intelligent. Like, they don't talk about it. You don't always know it, but their wit is intelligence. So in order to write funny, in order to act funny, in order to interpret funny, you're sharper than the average there. I just feel that, you know. There was a bell. What was the bell?
It says it's 9:59. Is that?
Oh, I don't know. Oh God, it flew by. I guess we got to get going. I do want to shout out Melanie Reese joined us early on. Michael Bowe joined us. Andrew Hearn joined
Michael Bowe.
I hope I didn't miss anybody. A lot of great people joined us. I want to thank everybody for all our audience members for coming out and every week and checking up on us and watching the show. The show goes into podcasts on Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio in about 12 hours. It runs on YouTube and it's archived on YouTube. So if you go to our What's the Story with Maria YouTube page, this is episode 237, I think. So I think, or well, one of those, but you'll see they're all there. You can watch whatever you want. I want to thank JOE Gullha, the playwright of Real Wood and so many other great things. Emily Dinova, thank you, sweetheart, for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.
Listen, I couldn't be happier to have you guys, really. Susan Campanaro, my best buddy. And
love you, Maria. We're going to see you Thursday night at the Stonewall Inn, 7 o'clock.
I'll be there.
Everybody come. Everybody come. Michael Bowe, Tootsie, come.
Yes, and Chet Göle. Thank you, Chet. I know I was having a lot of problems with the same thing with the StreamYard. So please tell Chet. Stephen Burr, I don't know if I gave you a shout out, but thank you, Stephen Burr.
Hi, Stephen.
We love and appreciate you. Come back and see us every Tuesday night. Good night and have a great week.
Love you.
Thursday night, Stonewall Inn, 7 p.m.
Okay. Maria's the